Good afternoon, sir. We are from Group 2 and we are going to discuss the Marx law of motion of capitalism and compare with the theory of economic development by Adam Smith. In Marx's theory of history is a process when the static ROP, which is the relations of production that come into conflict with the dynamic forces of production, FOP. The result of conflict will revolutionize the system when the new ROP permit a higher development of the FOP. In Marx's theory of history, he saw the society evolving through 6 stages, which is the first is the primitive communism, slavery, feudalism, capitalism, socialism, and communism. So the purpose of this assignment is to discuss why capitalism faced internal contradictions that cause class struggle and lead to it being overthrown and replaced by the socialism. In his theory of history, he sought to lay bare the economic law of motions of modern society. Besides, he wanted to determine the process when the force of production within capitalism would produce their own antithesis and inevitable demise, just as the slavery and the feudalism earlier. There are 6 important interrelated concepts in the law of motion of capitalism. First, the labor theory of value. Second, the theory of exploitation. Third, capital accumulation. Fourth, centralization of capital and concentration of wealth. Fifth, reserve army of the unemployed. And 6, the class conflict. This is the Marx law of motion of capitalism. The first concept is the labor theory of value. This is a theory to analyze the commodities in the capital society. Commodity is something produced for profit and can satisfy human needs. Commodity have use value and exchange value, but for Marx, he only focused on the exchange value. To determine the exchange value of a commodity, socially necessary labor time (SNLT) is used. The SNLT includes the direct labor, the labor included in the process of production, and the value transferred to the commodity during this process. For example, when the average socially necessary labor time to produce a pair of shoes is 10 hours, this means that the value of the shoes is also 10 hours, no matter the workers take less or more time to produce that pair of shoes, such as a competent workers would take only 5 hours, but incompetent workers will take 20 hours. Next is the theory of exploitation. It includes the labor time more than labor power, surplus value, the rate of surplus value, and the rate of profit.
Afternoon, sir. My name is Guan Jia, mentor number 2617007. Continue with the slide, I will present about the theory of exploitation. This theory states that profit is the result of the exploitation of work earned by their employer. Marx has carried out 2 concepts, which is labor power and labor time. Labor power refers to a personal ability to work and product commodity, while the labor time is the actual process and the duration of the work. How we determine the value of the labor power? It can be said that the labor power is equal to the socially necessary labor time (SNLT) that required to produce the cultural necessity of life consumed by the worker. Supply value can be said that is the extra value. It is when the labor time of the workers spent during the workday create a larger sum of the value than the value of their own labor power is the supply value. The extraction of the supply value by the capitalist cannot occur when the labor power is equivalent to the labor time. This is an equation to calculate the rate of the exploitation. The rate of the exploitation equal to the supply value over variable capital times 100%. The higher the percentage, the higher the exploitation of labor. This figure shows that Marx theory of exploitation. You can see 3 bar A, B, and C. For bar A, we show that it is a normal condition. The capital pay the worker the market value of their labor power, which are entry. However, when the capitalist want to gain a profit, it will increase the working day for labor without paying for their extra labor time. Hence, we can make a conclusion by asking the worker to work extra hour. Labor can be exploited by the employee to gain profit.
My name is Travicia. My entry number is 26182. Today I will tell something about the rate of the surplus variance. First, the formula surplus variance is equal unpaid labor time divided paid labor time multiplied 100%. And also we can get the 2 examples below the formula, and we saw the next page. The alternative approach to calculate rate of the surplus. Normal paid working hour is 6 hours. If extend to 12 hours means plus 6 hours. The rate of the surplus is equal 6 divided 6 multiply 100% and then we can get 100%. We saw the next page. Even if the working day will not lengthen, the surplus variance could be increasing by raising the efficiency of the production until reducing the variance of the worker labor power. If the worker necessity could be produced in a shorter time, a larger share of the new variance would go to be the capitalist. Suppose the working day was shortened from 12 hours to 10, but instead of being divided into 6 hours of paid labor for the worker and 6 for the capitalist, it was divided into 4 for the worker and 6 hours for the capitalist. The rate of the exploitation would rise from 100% to 115%. And the two models of the exploitation, one is the absolute surplus variance and the other one is relative surplus variance. The rate of the profit is mass formulation is the ratio of the surplus variance to the total capital invested. We saw the next page is a table for the total cost of the production, and next page again we show the calculation of the total cost of the production. First we saw the total cost of the production for 12 hours, meaning until 12 hours we got the 27 ringgit. Surplus variance for 12 hours equals is 3 ringgit. The rate of the profit is the 11.1%.
My name is Lim Moon Jun. My twin number is 261854. I will continue present about the 3A, that is capital accumulation and the foreign rate of profit. What is capital accumulation? It is typically referred to an increase in asset from investment or profit, and it is one of building blocks of capitalist economy. The next part is foreign rate of profit. What is the reason that caused the foreign rate of profit? It is because of the drive toward increased efficiency through the machinization and labor-saving invention. The machinization is the desire to improve the productivity by using the machinery, and the labor-saving invention is by the replacement the labor with the machine. According to Karl Marx, it will raise the organic composition of capital. The equation for the organic composition of capital is Q equal to constant capital divided by the total capital. The alternative of the product rate equation is P price equal to S price bracket 1 minus Q. That is, P price refer to the profit and S price refer to the surplus value. The new formula indicate that the profit rate P price is varies directly with the rate of surplus value S price, but it is very inversely with the organic composition of capital Q. This is a meaning that if the capitalist invest more on machinery and less on labor, it will lead an increase of organic composition of capital Q, but lead a decrease of the profit rate P price. Why the capitalists still use the machinery instead the labor, even though they know the profit will be low? This is because of the promoting efficiency of production. They know that the greater use the machinery will reduce the production cost, so the price will fall. The one who cannot compete will leave the market. Besides, the greater of the efficiency of production will make the lower the value of labor power. When the number of hours required to produce the subsistence and it will lead the greater of the total amount of profit produced per working day. So in conclude, the dynamic of capitalism lead to an increase of organic composition of capital. Next is offsetting force to foreign rate of profit. There are 6 reasons of offsetting force to the foreign rate of profit. First is increased intensity of exploitation. Besides, the wages temporarily will cut below their value. Third, constant capital may be cheapened. The fourth is that it will lead an increase of population in relation to jobs, and increase of technological unemployment are conducive to setting up new industry that use more labor and little capital. The next is foreign trade will raise the profit rate by cheapening the element of constant capital and necessity of life. The last part is the rate of exploitation will increase by reducing the value of labor power through the increased efficiency of production.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Liu En, and my metric number is 261861. Today, I would like to present the capital accumulation and business crisis. Marx attacked Say's law, stating that C to M to C is best applied only to simple commodity production. Under large-scale capitalist production, the process of action becomes M to C to M, where people buy in order to sell instead of selling in order to buy. Marx extends the process of action to become M to C to M prime. M prime is larger than M because the exploitation of labor power. Rapid investment in capital and labor temporarily increase the demand for labor and increase the wages that capitalists must pay. However, these higher wages reduce the rate of surplus value and profit, ending the expansion and sending the economy in the opposite direction. The depression that result destroy the monetary value of fixed capital, enabling the largest capitalists to buy up smaller ones at bargain prices. Some factories close, prices of commodity falls, credit contracts and wages falls. The rate of surplus value and profit get restored and investment increase again. According to Marx, its business cycle is of greater magnitude than the previous one, adding to the condition that produce class struggle and social revolution. Next is technological unemployment. Rate of unemployment increase because labor is substituted with capital. Example of machine, technology, and robot. Next is centralization of capital and concentration of wealth. Growing size of firm weakening the competition into fewer hands. Emerging of monopoly power occur. The larger firm able to obtain economy of scale and producing at lower average cost as compared to smaller firms. The elimination of the smaller firm and the growth of monopoly firms occurs. Capital accumulation, economy of scale, and the dominance of the corporation in business organization. Next is reserve army of the unemployed and immiserization of the proletariat. Market wage is sufficient only to purchase the cultural subsistence required for survival and perpetuation of the labor force. The worker is forced to work sufficiently long to create a surplus value for the capitalist. Labor will replace by the machine and unemployment rate increase. Lastly, labor will become poor and jobless. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Hong Zihao, matric number 261701. I will continue to present about the last part of the law of motion about the class conflict. Class conflict is the concentration of wealth among fewer and fewer capitalists, as well as the absolute and relative impoverishment of the workers linked to class conflict. Capitalists accumulate their wealth by exploiting workers. The growing misery, oppression, slavery, gradation, exploitation of the workers raise their sense of solidarity and will to reward. The relation of production under capitalism come in conflict with the force of production, and the former are rapidly transformed. The worker overthrow the capitalist and establish a dictator of the proletariat, the consequence of capital accumulation between the Adam Smith and Karl Marx. Here is the diagram comparison about the theory of economic development by Adam Smith and the law of motion of capitalism by Karl Marx. In theory of economic development, capital accumulation can lead to division of labor, and reversely, division of labor also can rise up the capital accumulation. The division of labor will increase productivity of labor, and capital accumulation can stimulate the productivity of labor as well. When the productivity is increased, the national output increase too, and will bring the will of nation increase also. The capital accumulation motivate the wage fund as well. When the fund increase, the wages is higher than usual too, and this can increase the productivity, and the result will of the nation increase at all. And the law of motion of capitalism, the result of capital accumulation will bring the falling rate of profit, business case, and technology unemployment. Smith contented their division of labor plus capital accumulation. Both division of labor and capital accumulation then work together to increase the level of productivity. The rise in labor productivity increased national output, which widened the market and justified further division of labor and capital accumulation. As a result of capital accumulation, the wages farm increase and wages rise. Higher wages motivate further productivity growth. The rise in national output increase the good arrival for consumption also. Thus, constitute the wealth of nation. The law of motion of capitalism by Karl Marx. According to Marx, capital accumulation will cause a falling rate of profit, business price, and technological unemployment. This outcome produce centralization of capital and concentration of wealth, as well as rising unemployment and poverty. The polarization of capitalism and workers lead to class conflict and the collapse of capitalism. In conclusion, Adam Smith believed that capital accumulation will bring the positive effect, while the Karl Marx believed that capital accumulation will bring negative effect. We'll see the Adam Smith. That's all from our group, and thank you for take time to listen to us.